Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion, and as you could tell, I only have a handful of shirts that I switch between. You'll notice that soon now that I have VODs. May as well say it up front. But hey, Findle's here. Q Nicken, who I saw earlier in C Sharp Fritz's whatchamacallit, um, stream, is also here. Good to see you too. Findle is providing a link to a meetup because John Skeet is apparently having a meetup, which sounds awesome. Super cool. Yeah, so C Sharp Fritz was doing Signal. No, he wasn't doing Signal R related stuff today. He was doing more cleanup in Clip Talk and making it so that the recommended streamers works better or something. Yeah, so anyway, it looks like the John Skeet thing starts in about 45 minutes, so 11 o'clock my time. I'm still going to go for 2 hours. Feel free to hop over to his thing because my stuff is it's been all over the place. However, I did make some progress, some steps forward, so I'm going to show that off. Before I do that, I need to start generating my next version of the app that I am going to present to the stakeholders today. Show them the progress. So OneDrive, we're on version 10, which I changed to version 0.1.1. So we're going to go with that. I am going to cd into my MAUI project, and I am going to publish locally in release mode to generate the MSIX package. So that's going to be fun. All right, while we are waiting for that, I'm going to hop back over to our stream machine. Make sure that I don't have anything on the main screen that's going to cause issues. Tissues. I have tissues and many issues. Okay, we look good. It looks good to go. So let's bring you guys on screen. Advanced desktop. Wow, it's picking the wrong desktop. That's nice. When did that happen? Hey, display screen. Use this one. Yes. There you go. Okay, we're on the right screen now. Prog testing is here, who also made progress. We are the progress team. But yeah, Scott. John Skeet, who is a prominent figure in the Microsoft world. Actually, is he specific to Microsoft? I'll bring up the invite. I'm pretty sure he's like integral to Microsoft. Ah, awesome. Okay. So this is a really interesting thing to read. This thing here says about John Skeet. John Skeet is a staff developer relations engineer at Google, currently working on the .NET client libraries for Google Cloud Platform. John is best known for his contributions to Stack Overflow, along with his previous Manning books, including C# in Depth. It's kind of funny because speaking of Google Cloud Platform, yeah, he got famous. Stendhal was saying he got famous by pretty much answering every hard question on Stack Overflow before the site turned toxic. That's really cool, though. This sounds like a really cool thing. I want to accept it, but I need to move it off screen to do that. And I still have some things to do. Okay, so are you still publishing? You're done publishing. Let me put this file in the folder that they can have access to, because I usually try to have these in there before I meet with them so that they have something to reference. Pasta you there. Grab pasta you. Even test the install. Oh, I need to test the install before dragging and dropping, but whatever. We'll just hope it works. Besides, the old copy is still in there, so they could always downgrade back. And every time that I create a new publish, it gets like 20 to 30 kilobytes bigger. Which is kind of scary, because by the time I'm done, it's going to be like 200 megabytes. John Skeet, the Chuck Norris of programming. Okay, so I should be able to turn this screen off and move to this screen so that I can see everything that I need to see, such as in simple game dev. Such a good guy. Okay, I will attend, continue with Google, use my Meetup Google. There's only 4 spots left. Maybe I shouldn't have RSVP'd. I don't want to take up a spot because I won't be fully paying attention. Especially since he's going to be talking mostly about what looks like integration testing. Or, yeah, what does this mean by integration? Flow applications tend to have to integrate with other systems, however, and some applications do very little other than gluing together multiple systems. Sometimes that has been, yeah, I don't know that this is really a topic that I would be invested in partially listening to. So I don't want to take up a spot. Scott said, I upgraded all my Microsoft NuGet packages from 6.0.6 to 6.0.7 and everything stopped working. And then prog testing said, sounds normal if you ask me. And Scott is like, are you being serious? And yes, he is being serious. So even though you upgrade the Microsoft NuGet packages to the latest, which we probably wouldn't be able to see in this project because this is a MAUI project, there are still other libraries that depend on the 6.0.6 version that are referenced in your project, and some that are not even updated to support 6.0.7. So you would want to make sure that all of your other references, your other NuGet packages are compatible or support 6.0.7 or have updates as well. Like the main one that I can think of off the top of my head is Microsoft.extensions.logging. Yeah, I'd have to find one. A project. But first, I'm really excited about this. We've been working on this cool theming example, which I will show the progress that we've made so far. It's a theming example that is a Blazor Hybrid application, which means that we are using a .NET MAUI project type, but we are doing all of the UI using Blazor, using the skills that we already have in Blazor. And one of the things that we added to this demo app is the ability to change themes in the Blazor portion of the app, but I was struggling to get those themes to apply to the title bar in machines other than Windows 11. And so I reached out again a few days ago, last week sometime, I'm going to have to find that question again. Here it is. Where I pretty much restated my prior question. Oh, which I put up front. So here was the full statement of the previous question where I'm like, I'm trying to do this, but following the example of using appwindow.titlebar.background color equals color, so changing the color this way, is not working on Windows 10. And then I got a message back, and I don't know why, but I like going back to the beginning and going through each step to solidify what I've learned. I guess I do know why. So I got a message back from a Microsoft employee saying, this is a bug, so issue a bug on the GitHub. So I did that, and then a couple seconds later, I got this message where they're like, if you look at the documentation for title bar customization, it notes that title bar customization APIs are currently supported on Windows 11 only. And I know that I read that, and I didn't remember seeing this documentation either, but I didn't know what that meant. I wouldn't have known what that meant. So anyway, I accepted this person's answer. They provided a nice little sample here that I tried, and we have we have videos of it, of me trying to integrate this solution into the project that we have, the theming project, and I banged my head against the wall multiple times, and I'm like, I can't figure this out, so I need to ask again. Yeah, and Scott wrote that too. Definitely, and definitely. So I don't mean to not give you credit for coming up with the answer first, but it just wasn't clicking for me. And it's still not fully clicking for me, but I posted this follow-up question, and I got a response. What is this? Oh, because I need to refresh it. Yeah. I got a response to this question, which is the question up front is, how do I customize the title bar for Windows? The end, such that I can change the color and everything like that at runtime. And if I wanted to, change the icon. And so earlier this morning, I got a message back from another Microsoft employee saying, as your previous question, APIs are currently supported on Windows 11 only. Stated. I know this. But that user provided a basic sample with WinUI 3 called this, which I said I also tried and couldn't figure out in your previous question for Windows 10. He creates a custom title bar to override the native title bar. And I'm like, but I don't know where to put it. And so here's the only tidbit that I have that I could go off of, which is you can open MAUI Platforms Windows app.xaml, then override the onLaunch method, add main window, like in the basic sample. And that's it. That's all I get. Where my optimal example that I'm looking for is, I have this project out there. Would you be able to fork that project and make the changes needed to integrate this sample into here, into my project, so that I can see how it's done? Because I'm not getting it. I'm not good at SAML. I don't have the knowledge needed with WinUI and UWP/WPF applications to even know what any of this stuff means, really. I have to do a lot of assumptions, a lot of assuming. So I did a lot of assuming this morning, and I really should have been working on my current project, the stuff on my current project that I was working on at the end of the day yesterday. But this is part of that project because I need the title bar to respond to theme changes. Anyway, so I put together another application from scratch, Oh, here's the other thing that I find very funny. I don't know where I read this. Maybe it was in this person's response, where they originally created this as a MAUI app and then stripped it out of the MAUI project and put it in a WinUI 3 unpackaged project, and I didn't even know how to run that. It's like, what? I prefaced everything with, keep in mind, I am a .NET developer. I mean, a web developer. I'm writing this from a standpoint of a Blazor web developer who wants to use RCL to create the UI for custom platform. This question, however, is specific to running on Windows, which means I don't know XAML. So anyway, let's get to the punchline. The punchline is I followed the example and I copy and pasted the code from project, sample project, main window.xaml. I took all of this, actually I took all of this stuff and I created a new file in Windows, platforms, Windows, main window and main window.xaml.cs. I created those two using content, right? And we're gonna go through this. I'm just walking through it, but we're gonna go through it slowly after we finish the skinning thing. But I created main window.xaml.cs in Windows platform folder, and then did some updates to the naming conventions. Read only. Why is that read only? Oh, because it's only getting set in the constructor. Okay, so I'm also adding read only apparently. So then I also copied all of the code behind. And when I copy and pasted the code behind the window.xaml.cs, go back, main window.xaml.cs, you can see that there's just a whole bunch of usings up here. So I copied those usings and I copy and pasted this in. However, even though I had those other usings, because both the Microsoft.MAUI and the Microsoft.UI.XAML namespaces exist, it was like, I don't know which window you're talking about, because it wanted to use Microsoft.MAUI. And it's like, I want the Microsoft.UI.XAML window. So I'm like, for every single one of these where it's a control that exists or a class that exists in both namespaces, I just aliased it. And I said everything comes from either Microsoft.UI.something or Windows.UI.something or Windows.foundation. And that got rid of all the red squigglies. So then I copy pasted those two in. And then it also said, look at app.xaml. So I looked at app.xaml. I got the resource dictionary, created my merge dictionaries. And this is just setting up all of the styling and stuff. But again, this is app.xaml in the Blazor Hybrid app only, or sorry, the Windows platform folder only. And the last thing is app.xaml.cs. There is this on-launched event that you can, lifecycle event, that you can hook into or override, where you set that main window class that you just created as the main window of the application. So what I noticed is, after doing this, here is a regular Blazor MAUI app that gives you app.shell and all of that fun stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's run this. And I'm like, awesome, there it is. This is the exact example from that sample GitHub repository. And I click this button, there's my scrolling text, there's my ability to modify the content in the title bar, in the caption bar. I can hide it. It still works just fine. I have custom buttons on here, custom color. I could change the color in those custom colors by going up here to the XAML and saying, let's go through pink. And I'm like, all right, let's see how that works in Blazor Hybrid, in a Blazor Hybrid project. And the answer is, drumroll please. The answer is, I don't know where my workflow is. There it is. The answer is, it also works. Look at that. And I also got the pink on the far right, which I told this thing to do. And scrolling text works. But I'm like, wait, there's something missing. There seems to be something missing from the Blazor Hybrid app. What could it be? What could it be? How about the actual main page that I want to use, which is a Blazor web view? So now I have the opposite problem. I have a custom window, but I don't have a Blazor web view for my UI. And that's because the app.xaml.cs on launched is overriding my app.xaml.cs main page equals main page. And it kind of seems like it's not even using main page at all. So of course, I'm like, well, I just now learned how to include MAUI stuff in my Windows code behind and XAML stuff all together. So let's just go into here and add our Blazor web view. And so I found out that I need to alias the namespaces to get the Blazor web view so that it is coming from Microsoft ASP.NET Core Web View MAUI. Can I move the on launch into the other app.xaml? Let's find out. Excuse me, do you have an override for on launch? Even though you're not going to be in alphabetical order? No. Oh, you meant the other way around? I don't know what you mean then. Because unlaunched is already in app.xaml for the platform specific folder. Or are you saying main page? Put main page in here. I don't know that main page is a property of window. No, you aren't bothering me. This is what I'm doing today. This is definitely what I want to explore, and I'm taking ideas. That is not a bother at all. I appreciate your input. So if you have any XAML knowledge or WPF knowledge, because at this point we're pretty much customizing a WPF app with a Blazor web view. So if you know how to set either a content page as the window, you know what, window.content. Yeah, but I think this .content here is a Microsoft.UI.xaml UI element, which MAUI elements are not. Oh no, even then, even better, Kittle, Keitel. Any just random thoughts on this, I am happy to accept, because who knows, you might spark some other thought. So thank you for providing that. Is what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, I wonder if there is a way to set that main page .xaml as a child of window. Main window. So since main page is a content page, can I add it like a control? I'm so used to Blazor. This is where my knowledge of Blazor probably hinders me, where I'm thinking of all of these .xaml files as components that I can use in any other component. But they're not. I don't think. But I'm going to go ahead and try this. Let's see what happens. I'm going to set you as my startup project because we'll be using you mostly. I think I got an error. And it's really hard to it's really hard to tell which errors are the right errors for the application that you're trying to run, because in the errors list there's all of this window is not found and all of these things because it doesn't know how to find the right window, I guess. Oh yeah. The other thing that I did, just so you know, before I forget, because the namespaces were already for app.xaml and app.xaml.cs, they were already the project name dot WinUI. I also, when I was applying his example, changed the namespaces to WinUI instead of using the folder structure, which would be project name, platforms, Windows. Just wanted to clarify that real quick. Get that out of the way. But yeah, so I definitely can't do this. And yeah, this is just, I'll keep that for now. But the cool thing was when I aliased the MAUI components, all of my squiggly lines went away. And it was like, yeah, I know what a Blazor web view is now that you're telling me it's a Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.Components.WebView.MAUI web view. And yes, I know what the root components is. And yes, I know what a root component is because you told me that it's in that namespace. But no, I have no idea what type is. This used to say X type, and X is defined up here as Schema's Microsoft WinFX 2006 XAML, whereas in the page that I got this from, which is main page, X is 2009/XAML. So I'm like, okay, let's create another namespace alias called Y to that other one, and let's use Y type because that worked. But it doesn't work because it's like I still don't know what type is. So then it's like, let's use system. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's use namespace system because that's another place that you can find type. But then it's like, well, this isn't the right type. This type here is not a markup extension. It is the actual CLR type object or struct. I'm like, not helpful. Not helpful at all. So yeah, essentially I'm still stuck. I got very far as being able to customize the title bar in a MAUI app, but now I can't get the content to show up on the actual content page. So what I'm going to do from here is I have mail. Shush. Oh, I found my work phone. It was right next to my hand. What we're going to do from here is after we're done with the skinning stuff that we were starting, we're going to come back to the title bar, apply all of this little by little to our theming example. Oh, yeah. Dang it. One more thing that I want to mention is I did put this project that has both the Blazor Hybrid and the regular MAUI app in GitHub with some README content that says everything that I just described to you, in the hopes that somebody that knows about WPF or somebody that knows about MAUI will come in here and be like, this is the right way to do it. Not the way you're doing it, but this way. Oh, dang. Thank you so much, Halibard. Ajebard? Hailbard? Am I trying too hard? I'm a tryhard. Thanks for the follow, though. As you can see, we are playing around with some MAUI. But yeah, we're gonna finish up the theming example, skinning stuff. No, it has an A. Hallebard. What is Hellebarde? Because it sounds like Hellebarde might be either a character that you know from lore or a word that means something. Which is a halberd, which is a type of speared weapon. Or, yeah, I know what a halberd is. And I did look it up. So maybe it's a variant spelling of halberd. Halberd. But it's a spear with an axe on the end, essentially. And a pointy. A pointy. Pointy. Sounds like it could be the same. Okay, gotta find my mouse. Oops. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's the progress that we've made so far. We're going to continue with the skinning thing because I actually the thing that I was publishing just now for the stakeholders, for the team that I am working on the project for, I implemented this approach for theming that we're doing. And Dukasoft is here. But he's like, isn't that a weapon? Yes. Yes, it is. But yesterday, Dukasoft did make a remark that the theming approach that I took so far is the theming approach that he makes. Don't hide, Dukasoft. We're talking about coffee. Okay. You could always lure out a wild Dukasoft with coffee, or at least the promise of coffee. What was I saying? Right, so Dukasoft did mention that the approach that I'm currently using for our skinning example And I mentioned that the difference between theming and skinning is that theming really is just color changes to me, where the entire layout of the application is essentially the same, but you can change the color, you can change the font, and that would be a theme change for me. And then a skin change would be you're changing the actual layout of the application, maybe even the pages that are available, the routes that are available, which I am doing in the other application. So I have one skin that is for all of my standard users. The average person who has this application installed on their machine on their operating system. And then I have a skin that's for corporate users or commercial users or whatever it's going to be called. And the application has different pages available, and it has different options available on each page. And so it's essentially a different app. It's just it uses the exact same shared library code. And so the point that I got to last time in yesterday's video, which will be posted to YouTube hopefully today, I just got to make a thumbnail for it. I finally posted the other videos that I said I would post. I had to blur out one of the things, and then I'll be uploading that same video with the edit to Twitch so that my VODs aren't missing a day. But that was day 4. Day 3? Day 3. And then day 4 is the one that I just created the thumbnail for. Oh, that's the one that I'm going to be posting today. Right. And I should be able to do it. Actually, I should be able to do it now, because by the time it posts, it'll be after the 24 hours that it needs to be exclusive to Twitch. All right, you have all the right tags. The recording date. Wait. This is Friday's video. Huh? Friday's video, we were still doing something. Anyway, I need to create a thumbnail for yesterday's video, but I'll post Friday's video now. Meow. There it goes. And that was the one that, oh yeah, right. That was the one that had the copyright claim on it because of the bits music. And then I need to do the description and thumbnail. All right then, good to go. So this theme, this skin approach that we are taking, mouse, is we are using the same Blazor UI. So this library, this Blazor UI is a Razor class library that's used by both the Blazor Hybrid and the Blazor web application. Han's so high. Yeah, this is a good channel to ask. And you can also ask in our Discord. I'll see if I have an answer for you once I fully read your question. I don't think I will, because I saw that it has to do with virtual machines. If Bob Ross were here, he might. Or President Not Sure, or live coding. But anyway, I'm not sure if this is the right channel to ask, but can anyone recommend a good free virtual machine software? I'm trying out kernel dev and BSOD might happen. The only ones that I really know about are Oracle's. Is it still Oracle? I can't think of what that one's called though. Anyway, there's VMware VirtualBox. That's the one I was thinking. VMware virtual, and I'm pretty sure that you can get a free VMware version if it's just for dev work. And then there's VirtualBox, like Tyron said. And then the one that I completely overlooked because I just haven't used it very much is Hyper-V. So if you have Windows Pro, then you can just turn on Hyper-V and create your virtual machine there. I haven't needed to. I guess I have most recently used Hyper-V because of the HoloLens emulator. But I've had so many situations where like BlueStacks wouldn't run if you had Hyper-V turned on. I mean, obviously. But yeah, so for the skinning, I created a separate SAS file that will have pretty much a class rule for the skin. And what the class rule will do is allow me to change the layout of my app without needing to do any content change or anything like that. But I brought up at the end of the stream that there's a catch. This is if I don't want to do content change. And also, if I am okay with showing and hiding various elements using CSS as opposed to not rendering them at all. And if I wanted to not render them, then I would do something like @if preferences state dot, which I don't have a preferences state currently. Do you have a code behind file? No. Hodge. So if I injected my preferences state, no, you forgot a space. Active skin. IntelliSense. Okay, so if my active skin is not ASP.NET Pages, then I want to show my sidebar. Otherwise, I don't want to show my sidebar. However, I will have to do this everywhere throughout the application that I want my UI content changes based off of the skin. And what if I have more than one skin that uses a sidebar, more than one skin that doesn't use a sidebar, another skin that uses a completely different sidebar? So this to me is not a good approach for implementing skinning. My preference is now, as I'm learning more about it, to create a separate Razor class library for each skin. Now, if two skins are fairly similar, yeah, maybe I'll merge them into one. But at the moment, I've only had two different layouts that I've needed to handle. How would I handle three? I'll need to answer that question. How would I handle a third layout? The other benefit that I would get from this approach is if my application needed to be deployed as separate packages. So let's say that I needed to create an installer that only has the commercial skin on it. And thanks so much, Hansohai, for the follow. Really appreciate that. And yeah, so then I would be able to create an install that only references the one Razor class library project that has the skin, the layout for that version. So let's do that. Let's set that up today. To do that, I need a few Razor class libraries. a handful. And of course, after doing this, if someone has a better approach that they can think of, I'm open to that as well. But I do want to get this one implemented first. And that would be theming example dot Blazor. So now that I have my Blazor UI project, I'm going to create sub projects that are tagging onto that. So I'm going to have shared components. This is going to be my cards, my reusable components that are used in no matter what type of skin I'm using. They may be styled differently in the other skins, but they're still going to be the same component, essentially. Turn this down. Okay. So here are my shared components. And I would want one, as I mentioned, for each of the skins. And that would be theming example. Hello, Tommy. Blazor UI dot ASP.NET skin. Pages skin. Terrible at naming things. And then we're going to have one more skin that is our default. And that is a theming. Did I spell the other one wrong? I hope not. Theming example Blazor UI dot Blazor Razor. What did I call it? Blazor Hybrid. Skin. Skyne. Huh? Okay. So let's do some cleanup, moving stuff around. This is always the, I guess I'm going to call it tedious part. Cleaning up the new projects. And then setting it all up. So once again, I want all of my shared components, which I don't have any shared components really, but if I had shared components, they would be down in my shared components project. But the things that all of them will share is the base Sass. So I'm creating a copy for that. Layout, however, will not be shared. And so I am going to web compiler. Tommy wants to know how the day is going. My day is going fantastic. I'm getting a lot done. I was able to find out just a little bit about the custom title bar, and I was able to get it to work with MAUI, more specifically Blazor Hybrid projects, which is cool, but I lost the ability to see my actual page content. So I'll need to figure that one out, which we're going to explore together, of course. And this is going to www.root css app.css. Go web, one step at a time. That's right. I'm okay with that. As long as I actually learn it. I just don't want to settle into bad habits with the way that I learn it too. Yeah, I don't mind creating another problem if it fixes. Yeah, I'm hoping that the most recent thing that happened in the app will be the last thing that we need to overcome, which is now displaying the Blazor web view component inside of my window inside of the window that I'm using to replace the main MAUI applications window. Yeah, let me just show you that project real quick in case you are interested in seeing it again. Not again, but for the first time. So I have the Blazor Hybrid and the regular MAUI application in the same solution, and I applied the exact same changes to both of them. In the platform Windows folder, I used an example from another GitHub repository, someone that previously answered a question. I added this main window that is going to be the application's main window when running on Windows. When we run on Android, Mac, and iOS, it's still going to use app.xaml and main page, but this main window here is the one that has the styled top bar, caption bar, whatever you want to call it. The background on it is going to have a linear gradient for the color, and these colors are modifiable. I'm pretty sure that these colors would be bindable too. So I'd be able to use like a dynamic or static resource, and then provide the color and then change the color in the app. So going with that assumption, I'm not worried about doing that at the moment because I know how to do that part. And then here is the actual, or actually, this is the content of the title bar, which includes the title that displays. Yeah, here it is, the title that displays. And then there's a button on the main content of the page and a slider, and then I was trying to get the Blazor web view to show up. And that's the part that's not working. But the cool thing is when we run the application, no, MAUI is not just a wrapper for Blazor. MAUI is a project type that will allow you to build to multiple platforms. So the only thing that is Blazor about it is that I happen to be using a Blazor WebView control and a whole bunch of Razor class library to be the user interface for the application. But here is the running app. You can see that the title bar does have this gradient that goes across. And any interactions that I do in the main page at runtime can affect the title bar. And even the control buttons are customizable, which is very cool. So that's going to be really good for being able to get the custom title bar. But now all of my page content, which I wanted to be the Blazor web view, is gone. So I'm wondering if this really just needs to be a web view 2 and do it the WPF way, but I've never used web view 2 either. So yeah. Yeah, so MAUI is more or less the base of everything. Yes, absolutely. And it allows you to use assets from Blazor components and Razor pages to just use inside of it. Yes, absolutely. All right, then. So that's where we're at with the custom title bar progress, and I will apply it to this theming example after we finish skinning. But my hair is on fire. Thank you, Tommy. It was commented out because it doesn't compile when it's not commented out. But that was there so that I can remember the progress that I've made so far. So everything that was commented out works except for the specifying the type of Razor component to render in the Blazor web view, which will be main.razor. So like up here in main page, it's exactly this here, but this x:type doesn't exist. And X up here is saying that it's the namespace from WinFX 2009 XAML, but the one that's in window is from WinFX 2006 XAML. And if I change that, actually I didn't try changing just that one to 2009 and see what happens. It'll probably break stuff. I'm kind of interested. I want to see. But I added another one for Y, like XMLNS:Y, which I think just says alias this namespace to Y, so that down here I can use Y:. This same thing, but actually this right here. You can see it here now that it's loaded. So what happens if you can't just comment it out and leave it up there? That's annoying. What happens if I change this to 2009? Does that break stuff? Yes, it does. Class is not a member on window. Yeah, so this x:class. What? I'm just not getting it. So here I am aliasing X as the 2009 version of this thing here. Yeah, they're exactly the same. And we can use x:class to say what is the underlying class for this control, for this XAML page. And it is main page.xaml.cs, which is a partial class of content page. So I'm trying to match this pattern here in my main window. And when I use it in main window, it's telling me x:class does not exist. It's also telling me x:name does not exist. Stack panel is not part of MAUI components. Yeah, so anyway, that's where I'm at. Is there a difference in presentation? This doesn't even have a presentation namespace. And it's like, is there IntelliSense for this thing? Yes, there is actually. Kind of. Not really. Because it doesn't have this 2006 XAML presentation. Shrugs. I have Copilot. And it's been making it pretty difficult for me trying to accept the IntelliSense suggestions. It's kind of annoying. I have not, I can't say that. There are a couple of times out of hundreds that I have benefited from having Copilot. But most of the time, I've been doing stuff like, so I like to have it autocomplete when I'm doing something like this. So that actually accepted it. I just don't have any good examples. I have an enum, let's say. There really is no main page, right? Yeah. So I have an enum in our theming app, and something that was happening earlier while I was working on the work product was if I was trying to access the enum, so if I did like preferences state dot active theme, there it goes. I just typed active th and it did skin when I hit tab. But then again, I could have just screwed it up. So let's say that I pick, or I start typing and then it auto completes and the IntelliSense list suggestion is showing. It'll pick something completely different that's not in either of them. I don't know why it's not doing it now, but it was definitely doing it earlier. Okay, so let's continue on. Tommy said Copilots helped with just minimizing simple code that I'd have to write, just like noting error strings in a JSON file. It helps autocomplete those, or maybe creating instances of certain objects that are similar to what I've done before. Yeah, but when I accept the Copilot suggestions, it gives me something completely different than what I hit tab for. Because, you know, it's like press tab to accept this or alt period to give me a new suggestion. Oh, that's why it's over here. When I hit tab to accept, it does something completely different. It's like, that's not what I accepted, but thanks. Ah, yeah, it could be Visual Studio. Moving on. Okay, so I can get rid of these now. And I'm going to do these one at a time. So now I have my app.css down in the shared project. So I need to remove it from compiler config in the main UI project. Ampersand, I forgot. Oh, in index.html, I now need to update where the CSS is coming from. Oh, I may as well move Bootstrap into that project too. Bootstrap, favicon, jalopies. Okay, so that moves all of these into my shared components. And my JavaScript, which is being used in my theme manager. Theme manager. Theme manager. Theme manager. Does anyone know where I put this? Salad. I know that I have something that is using the theming as an isolated JavaScript file. Main.razor is doing it. So this is now coming from Blazor UI.shared components. What else do we have? That should be good for the first part. I'm starting to lose it. Keep it together. Fave icon. Fave icon. Fave icon. Fave icon. Shortcut. Icon. And so fave icon obviously only takes effect when we're running it in web, 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 web. Type is X icon. Moonyak is here. Hello, Moonyak. Konnichiwa. Okay, so I need to apply these to my Blazor server project. Muniak says, hey there, I already asked Discord, but I want to ask here as well. Do you have any suggestions on how to start to work with Azure? Maybe some guides or whatever? There is a great Microsoft Learn or series of Microsoft Learn courses that will get you familiar with Azure. They will even give you the opportunity to become certified in various Azure technologies. So just head over to Microsoft Learn and find the path for Azure Data Fundamentals. Yeah, just pretty much anything on Learn will give you an introduction to Azure. I can't see any off the top of my head, but yeah, just look through Microsoft Learn. There was an introduction, beginner's guide to Azure somewhere on YouTube. I can't remember where it was. Simply Learn. Right. Simply Learn had a few videos lately. Edureka is another good channel. But definitely want to find something that's fairly recent because Azure is changing all the time. Yeah, but yeah, those are a few. So I tried some beginner's guides on YouTube, but they were outdated and some services cost money now, which used to not cost money in the videos. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can't really do for free on Azure unless you get the Azure. Like there are some things that you can do on your dev machine. Using an Azure emulator. So like there's an Azure storage emulator. There is a Mongo, what is it called? Cosmos DB emulator. I think they also had a messaging emulator. But yes, those would be places to get started, in my opinion. And of course, anyone else that has recommendations, feel free to provide those. Hi, doitashimashita. What am I doing here? I am working on exploring more MAUI because that's what we've been focused on lately. I am currently working on a work product that is using MAUI. So this is advantageous for me to play around with MAUI some more during the stream. And I thought you guys might be interested in seeing the capabilities of MAUI and learning with me. But what we're currently doing is we are exploring ways to have multiple skins in the same project, where a skin is essentially laying out all of the UI differently, maybe having different routes and stuff like that. So I just got started with that by splitting out my main Blazor user interface into a shared components library. And then I created the libraries for the two skins that we will be using in the application. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. So if you look up here, I have Android, iOS, Mac, Catalyst, Tizen, and Windows all available from the same project, all using the same user interface. So if I ran this on a mobile app, it would look like a web app, like you're running a web app on mobile. But if I wanted to, I could customize it so that the controls would render as if they were native controls. So I can make them look like Android buttons or toggles or whatever else. And if I chose not to use Blazor as the UI, then they would render the actual native controls on the target platform. But I don't have the XAML skills to do that. And I am not yet familiar with doing it in C#, but I did get some experience with that while we were trying to get things to work in this application. So for example, all of this stuff here is creating controls using code only. Sorry, using C# only, because this is also code. If you want to get started with MAUI, you'll need the Visual Studio Preview. I'm hoping next month is when they're going to put all of the tools for working with MAUI into Hey, there are updates available. There are updates available. I'm going to go ahead and update my Visual Studio on my work machine so that it'll be done by the time I am done streaming. I checked first thing this morning and there were no updates available. And suddenly there are. I'll take it. I don't know if Writer does or doesn't. I have no idea. I'm assuming that you can manipulate the code for MAUI because you can do a .NET New MAUI project using CLI. And MAUI is GA, by the way. So the actual MAUI project type is supported. It's in general availability. You can use it for production apps. It's the tooling that is not available. So doing your XAML markup and the Roslyn compiler knowing that, I don't know, main page is a main page. Stuff like being able to choose the target platform, using the platform folders to write platform specific code, compiler commands like if this is Windows, then do this. Those types of things. Cool. I'm having so much fun though because as I keep mentioning, I've only been doing web development for the past 10, 12 years. Well, and then there were a few desktop apps that were VB6 that I moved to VB.NET WinForms, but those went to Blazor. So I've been doing a lot of Blazor development since it came out, and so my UI skills are strongest. Actually, just my full stack development skills are strongest using Blazor. And so MAUI has given us the opportunity to use our Blazor skills to make an actual desktop cross-platform application. So it's been a ton of fun. Visual Studio update in 6.0.7 is out. So Scott, you're just a little bit too fast for them. And the meeting is starting. The meetup is starting for anyone that registered. If you want to go and talk with John Skeet, hear what he has to say about integration. Oh, it's not my meetup. That's why I don't have a command for that. I'll try to find the link that Findle put earlier, but I don't know if you can RSVP for it. Since it's already started. Okay. So we moved stuff around. 1, 2, 3 attendees. Yeah, I didn't want to take up a spot because I wouldn't be able to pay full attention to it. I guess I can check to see now that it's started. It says that there are 2 spots left. Yeah, I'm still not gonna register for it. I keep getting lost. Okay, I have Bootstrap in the right place, Open Iconic. So part of Open Iconic is in one of my SAS files. So I need to update the path to that. Shared components. Okay, that should be all of the updates that I needed to make for my shared library. So I need those 2 projects to reference the shared library. And then this original shared library is going to be the thing that switches the skins for me. So all of the logic for switching skins is going to happen in this original library, while at the same time allowing me to have individual references. So if I wanted this exact same project to only have my ASP.NET Pages skin available to it, then I would reference that skin project directly from here and then do my publish. Okay. That said, we currently shouldn't be broken yet. Yeah, nothing should have broken yet. So if I try to build, then survey says we .NET stare. Speaking of .NET stare, while we're waiting, we may as well cd into the Blazor server project. Wait, it's called web. Okay. And there we go. It worked. Do I use Identity Server for Blazor WebAssemblies? Yes. Watashi wa do. I'm trying to find another alternative, and if I was still at my previous job, that would be my primary focus right around now, which is to find something that can do the token generation and management for a WebAssembly application, I would still use Microsoft Identity for my user store, but I would want to implement a different way for handling token generation, token management, expiration, and renewal, all of those things, while still keeping my same identity store. Custom claims is the big one. That's the main thing that kept me using Duende Identity Server, was they have such an easy way to access and manage custom claims. Yes. Oh man, we were talking about that in the Blazor channel. Um, Sudden Gun, nope, Zultralord was asking about it. Where Zultralord has a Blazor server application, and he's using um, Identity Server as well, or Microsoft Identity, sorry. And it scaffolds the login, register, all of the account pages using the original ASP.NET Pages stuff, which is just your regular identity UI. And he's like, well, I scaffolded it and I can't quite figure out how to customize the look and feel of the UI because it looks like the original. And so when you look at my apps that I did for the previous job, you'll see that I customized my login pages, but I am still using the Microsoft Identity UI once we get to the login page. So you can see here that it's going to identity account login, which if you're familiar with Razor Pages, you'll know that this is just areas identity account and then login.cshtml with the login.cshtml.cs code behind, because for whatever reason, and I can't remember where I heard this, and I mentioned this when I was responding to him in Discord, someone in an authoritative position at Microsoft, I kind of remember, said that it's better to have server rendered login pages than client-side login pages that handle sending the username and password as body content, make sure that you encrypt it using a public key on the client side and then decrypt it using a private key on the server side and all of that fun stuff. That's still not as safe as having a server rendered login page that will then provide the token to your running application using the response headers, X509. Using the response headers and an actual response to populate your cookies and everything that the application uses to manage your identity. And so we had a discussion about that in Discord. Just look at the Blazor channel if you are interested in seeing how that turned out. It was a lot of words. We both write walls of text when we try to be concise. But yeah. So anyway, this is just the regular Microsoft Identity page with a different layout and of course styled differently, but same login, password, remember me, login button. And then I changed the reset password, register, and all that stuff to just this have an access token. The thing that I think is the most frustrating for us, I'm going to say us, is most pages have a, I don't know. Oh, Microsoft Learn would be a good one to go to, or Microsoft HoloLens advert. They have this kind of sign-in thing here at the top right. That's still not quite what I wanted. I can't think of any good pages that do this. Google. Just going to Google. Let's say that you're signed out of Google. When you click on this thing at the top right, you'll get your sign-in form. in some pages, or it's part of the hero section. So let's say you're just at the main page and you're looking at this big splash screen and then you have a login form right here. It's really difficult to do that when your login form is a server rendered page and your main application is running Blazor WebAssembly that just does the SignalR updates as you are making changes, and there is no postback, there is no refresh the page. So one thing that I ended up realizing you can do, at least in a Blazor server app, is putting your login page in an iframe and allowing that to post back to the application, to navigate you after post back to the actual pages that it's supposed to. That way your main application is still running as a Blazor app, your public view is there. If the user's already authenticated, then you don't need to worry about this. Otherwise, you display that login form because the user's not authenticated, and then logging in will do the actual routing, the post, and then post back to get all of your cookies set up and all of your headers and everything into your HTTP client, if you're using Wasm, for example. But it's really, really difficult to do that in a Blazor Wasm app. Or probably not difficult, but I struggled a lot with it. It is possible that it's really easy to do. Yeah, see? And I'm sure it's possible. You just need some way to allow the iframe to tell its parent page to do the actual post. Otherwise, you're posting only within that iframe, and the iframe will be the only thing that gets the cookie and its own separate session. And and once you try to push that up to the parent container page, that's where everything broke for me. All right. Wait, that was the wrong one. I was supposed to do Blazor Web. That was the ASP.NET. I was like, man, I don't remember styling it to look exactly like an ASP.NET brand new app. Man, I'm good. No. Let's try Blazor Web. All right, so this Blazor Web app is a Blazor server application that is using the same component library that the MAUI app would use. I just like doing it in Blazor, in Blazor server or Blazor WebAssembly, doesn't matter, because it's so much easier to use CSS autosync and hot reload and all of that stuff without needing to completely restart the app every single time you're trying to make a change, a rude edit. But I did break. Did I not actually copy it over? I didn't copy it over. I didn't update. Shared components. Refresh. Refresh again. There it goes. Okay. So, right. Wait, that doesn't make sense. So this project has a reference to the two skins projects. The two skins projects have a reference to the shared components project, which means that this project transitively has a reference to the shared components project, and the Blazor Web project has a reference to the Blazor UI project, which means transitively by the transitive property, that the Blazor Web app would have a reference to shared components. Why are these removed? Those should not be removed. And I don't want that. And we don't need to worry about this because the folder's not empty anymore. This one is definitely none include. Okay, what do you say now? Tommy says, can you use the iframe to navigate the parent to another endpoint? I think embedding Power BI actually does something similar when you have to authenticate for a report. When you click sign in on the iframe, it sends the window to an endpoint that authenticates and then redirects. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Because really the only thing that you need, or that you're using the iframe for, is to display the server rendered login form. And if the user interacts with it and does a login gesture, then you would want the application to then redirect to the login handshake process and generate the token and put everything in cookies and stuff like that. The behavior that you will get, though, is when they're redirected back to the page that they were on, the application will restart. So it'll still need to reload the application as if it was their first time visiting the page. Which is still okay. It's kind of expected behavior for a login, except, dang it, that wouldn't be a good one to do because that's like my address and everything. I was going to say, I think something like Postmates or Grubhub or something, you log in and it just updates the, nope, it wasn't Postmates because that's a completely different page. Oh, the Microsoft one actually. I don't know if you saw it happen. So on Microsoft.com, so sign out actually does redirect. So on Microsoft.com, I click the sign in and there is, well, we're gonna watch to make sure. There is no post back that will happen. Dude, finish. Oh, it's actually seeing where I'm hovering my mouse. That is a lot of analytics. User likes to hover over. Anyway, when I click sign in, I didn't see the page reload. The only thing that I saw is this login thing changed to me showing as signed in. It did reload. It did reload. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of remember there being some app that I use often that when you sign in, it doesn't post to anything. It probably does all of the cookie storage and stuff using JavaScript and then pushes the, like the article that Zoltra Lord gave us. No, not this one. It was the Stack Overflow answer. Because this one is the one that says handle all of your sign-in manager or user manager portion of it on the client side. Not on the client side, in the component. So check to see, did the user supply a valid email address? Are they a valid user? Are they timed out or are they locked out? Whatever. Do that before even doing the post because you have access to the user manager in a Blazor server application. But the sign-in manager portion of it doesn't fully work because again, we need to be able to post or push stuff to cookies based off of responses that you get. However, I can see an approach where you do this, and instead of navigating to account login internal token equals blah, yeah, sign-in manager is cookie stuff. Yes, that is true. And that's why you need the post back so that you can get everything into the cookies correctly. But you can do this as a HTTP post using your HTTP client. and maybe have some JavaScript interop that once you get the response, because it looks like the response that it gives you is going to have, oh man, it was probably from that other post still. Not this one. Oh, maybe this one. But anyway, whatever response you get, you can parse it into your own custom class in your application and then do whatever the regular logic is to push the cookie to the browser and add it to your HTTP client headers without needing to do an actual post back. Yeah, that could be something we explore eventually. But it doesn't seem like a safe approach because you still are doing the HTTP request and that can get intercepted. I think it does both though. So if we look at a Blazor WebAssembly app, you will see that your current token is stored in local storage and you have a cookie. But for WebAssembly, it's kind of easy because all you need is that token. And as long as you put that token in your header when you do your HTTP requests, then you're good to go. But you definitely don't want to make it easy to pick out that token. Make it easier for other people to. Man in the middle attack. I can't think of what it's called now though. It's not man in the middle anymore. Online attack? Person in the middle. Anyway, it was something like on wire or online. No longer called man in the middle because whatever the word is. Anyway, doesn't matter. That was probably it right there. I just saw some quotation marks. Are we back on page 1? No. Rename Caesar Tarrant Middle School. Anyway, I need to figure out why I am not getting access to these resources. Bootstrap.min app.css, even though I should be referencing those files from Blazor server. You are referencing it, right? I guess something that I didn't do was Queen. Yes, Queen. That was terrible. Nope. Yes. You. Actually, just do only the bins first. Only the bins. You can't do that because it's in use. But it's not in use. I closed the project a million years ago. Hello, APOC. Take your time. Whoa. What was it? Thank you so much for the bits. It's Metal Gear Solid. I mean, just Metal Gear in general. I mean, feel free to explore some more of those if you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, let's rebuild and see if the Blazor server application can now see the CSS from the shared library, shared UI library, shared components library, shared CD theming example, Blazor web. .NET Watch when it's done. Yay, that's gonna give me a copyright claim on Google, on YouTube when I try to post it. Oh, man. Those are loud. Oh my gosh. But that's what they're there for. Surprise. Good thing I'm deaf. My ears are still bleeding. Do 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 do. Hey, it's done. Sorry for my English. Your English is fine. Why did you open on that window? Because the most recent browser that you used was on that window. Shut up, I know. Over here. Come see a beta. Okay, so we are still not getting our CSS. That is so weird though. All right, I'm gonna add a reference directly to the Blazor UI shared components. But I shouldn't have to. Make me bop my head at you. Wait a minute. Am I blind? I think I'm blind. Might not be deaf, but I'm sure I'm blind. Boy, I'll tell you. All right, CSS, app.css, right? Theming example, Blazor UI. Oh, wait. This is what I'm trying to read. Theming example dot Blazor UI dot share components. No. Oh my goodness. All right, let me undo the project reference real quick. Because I want to make sure that this thing works the way that I'm expecting it to work. All right, so stop it. Shared components, rename the project, update all of my namespaces, although there shouldn't be any namespaces because I don't have any actual files in here that are getting compiled. And another clean and rebuild is in order. But anyway, I really do appreciate those, APOC. Those were fun. Surprising, but fun. If you couldn't tell, I'm not very good with surprises. I like predictable. I'm boring. Nani? Dude, do you just have like bits sitting around? Are they burning a hole in your pocket? Nani nani. Big spender. Hey, look at that. So there we go. We have our UI working the way that we're expecting it to. Kind of. It's not applying the skins anymore. Are you still applying the color theme? Nope, it's not doing that either. Everything is broken. We're not getting any errors though. It could be that it's still not loading all of my CSS. More specifically, the isolated CSS. Hard refresh is a good idea. And now I have some errors randomly. And hello, Master Rat. Been a while. I hope you are doing well. I hope your life is treating you well. And let's do a hard refresh. Application, storage, clear, right click, empty cache, and hard reload. Okay, so yes, I'm still not getting everything. Here's my isolated CSS file. It's coming from here. Kaku/pasta. Yeah, so here's all of my CSS. I don't see root in here. But this is isolated CSS, so I wouldn't see root in here. What are you thinking? The place that we would be seeing root is here. And here is root. And those are all of my colors. Here are all of my stylings. So yeah, I mean, that's why we are getting the body color. But there's got to be something going on in the running application itself in preferences state. So, oh, here's what we can do. We can find out if we are at least applying the skin and theme to body. We are not. And in fact, that's what's breaking it when it's trying to apply those. And this thing is not giving me any information about it. It's like, I can't do the thing you want me to do, but I'm not going to tell you why, because I'm going to have too many errors. It seems like it is in the JavaScript interop because that's what this thing would call. Right, and then the whole app is just broken after that. Okay, so the application does seem to work. Good, good. So I never, I got rid of these functions from my index.html and my underscore layout.cshtml. So that's why we can't do that. But you can see that the button is still responsive no matter how many times I click it. It stops being responsive when I try to change the theme. So let's find a good place to do a breakpoint. Handle preference changed, for example, and then update body classes. And then also apply sky layout. Are you sure that's supposed to say sky? Did I do that on purpose? Pretty sure this is supposed to say skin. Oh, actually, we don't need that one. It's on handle preference changed. And then I want to know if we are actually running these two. And it's probably this task.run that's breaking things. Task.run is never a good idea. I say never a good idea, as if that's an absolutely true statement. It is not. Okay, change. All right, even then, it already broke. Oh, it broke because it was waiting for me to tell it to allow it to rebuild. Okay, let's try this again. Boo theme. Wait, why did that work? Okay, well, the theme changer works again. All right, it's the theme switcher that is breaking. Massively breaking. Why? It uses the exact same property changed method. As my theme changer. That's a real theme changer. Apex says, I've never understood the meaning of virtual method. I mean, I read about it, and it means you can override the method, but you can do it also without using that keyword, correct? That's why we have protected and public methods. So, the point behind using virtual is not only being able to overwrite the method, but making it so that that is the only method. So you said that we have things like, or that you can overwrite a given method. Where's my shared library? Shift F2, class is example. Okay, so in this example, we're going to have class A and class B, which will inherit or extend class A. All right, class A has a method, public void do the thing, and that will do a console write line I am class A, very class A. And we want to override do the thing. And I get an error. So are you sure? Are you sure that you can override it without using the virtual keyword? I was going off of the premise that you can. So in order to be able to override, you would use protected, let's say. But at the same time, you can't override still. And I believe that is because, yeah, you must have the virtual keyword in order to be able to override. But yes, Tyron, Tyron, don't confuse them. You can use a keyword that will allow you to create your own. I don't exactly know where it goes in a method. I only know how to do that with properties. Your own instance for class B specifically. So I know that you can do this with properties. I don't think you can do it with methods. Oh, I need to get rid of override. You're right. Okay, so you can. However, that also means now that when you create a new instance of class A and class B, look at this. Yeah, please never do that. Unless you want to. I mean, I have a generic, well, anyway, I have a very specific use case for using the new keyword where I want to keep the original class's property and use the same name in my new class, in my inheriting class. But if we have a, oops, var new a, new class A, var new B, then you'll see when we do new A dot, we have do the thing. Do the thing is at the top. It's in my methods list. But if I do new B, then I will have two versions of do the thing. Oh, this is going to be really hard to do. So if we inspect new B with a breakpoint, then you'll see two instances, two versions of do the thing, where there's like a, I can't remember how to get to it though. Yeah, it's slipping my mind, but I know that I ran into this a lot when I was doing abstract classes. Mm-mm. Nope, it's not going to come to me. And I'm running out of time for the day. But you pretty much will have two do the things available in Class Bay. You have the base classes do the thing, and then you have newbies do the thing. But yeah, so the main thought was I thought that you could override any method in an inherited class using just the override without the virtual keyword. But in order to use override, you must have virtual. The difference between using public and protected is if you wanted this method to only be available for this class and any class that inherits it or extends it, then you use protected. It's pretty much saying it's private, but if it was private, then that means only class A can access it. And so this override here wouldn't work, even if I gave them the same visibility modifier. So this would need to be protected if I wanted to give access to class B to override class A's do the thing. I guess I code too much in PHP. But anyway, hope that clarified a little bit. Is a good topic to bring up. And with that though, my alarm is about to go off because it is 12:15 and I have a meeting in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. We'll find out tomorrow what's going on with my skin changer, as well as why my main layout is not applying up front. And I know why. I know why it is. I know what the answer is. I didn't do the necessary changes to main in Blazor UI. So now I have two Blazor component libraries that are being referenced in this main Blazor component library. And I did not update my default layout appropriately. This thing here. And there it is. Okay, so that's going to be it for my time now. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I definitely enjoyed having you around. It's been fun. You guys are fantastic. I'll get this video posted once I clean up the copyright claim. I'll get this video posted to YouTube after After these messages, I can't find my mouse. I'm trying to find my mouse so that I can try to find someone to raid. I really can't find my mouse. There. It's on my work laptop. Okay, there it goes. Over to this screen. We rated Finite yesterday. Are you actually started yet? Don't know, because I got a commercial. What is that face, Scott? That's creepy. Creepy. For those of you that are watching this in the future on YouTubes, definitely feel free to come by and check out the stream someday. I stream on Twitch every weekday around 10:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is currently UTC -6. And some days it'll be someday in the future it'll be UTC -7 when we go to Mountain Standard Time. I'm hoping I'm not getting that backwards. I have no idea whether we're in Mountain Standard or Mountain Daylight currently. I'm pretty sure it's Mountain Daylight, but it doesn't matter. If you come here around 10:30, either Mountain Daylight or Mountain Standard Time, you'll see me. You'll catch at least half of the stream. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I don't know. We're going to go ahead and raid a stream that I don't ever really raid. There is a JavaScript girl in a .NET world. It's the only .NET developer that I see that is currently streaming. But it is Code It Live. So if you feel like coming with me there, that's where I'll be hanging out. That's the stream that I'll be watching while I am working the rest of my day. I'll also be hanging out on Discord in the community voice channel if you feel like visiting there. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy your day. Hope you come back someday. I'll be here again tomorrow. We'll work more through doing the skinning. And Avidist got here just in time for the raid. That is an awesome emote, APOC. Need to go. Wait, BitGamey's emote. I need to subscribe to BitGamey. That's a really nice emote. I don't like dogs, but that dog is awesome. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. I will see you again the next time you are around. Ciao for now. Still waiting. Arm's getting tired. Okay, laters.